I want everyone to know that this is a safe space here. You can, we won't censor you like some of the liberals. Raymond, I want to start with you. There is a sense of fun and whimsy that seems to be missing in this whole political correctness moment that we've been living in for some time.
Well, jokes are out the door. You can't kid. And look, how do we get over difficult situations? How do we overcome and find connections with people we disagree with? We joke. We make fun of each other and ourselves. That is being pushed further and further out of society. You see it in some of the clips you played. You can't do a little racy or suggestive songs. This was a way in the 1950s that people interacted. It was a way to suggest something without gratuitously hitting you over the head with it. Now we're in a gratuitous age where you can't make the quiet side swipes, the fun jokes on the side. Everything's got to be very plain, very black and white. And frankly, it's a lot uglier out there today.
It's more divisive and not fun. Jennifer, this is what Jerry Seinfeld said a few years ago. He was on with Seth Meyers talking about what it's like to be on the comedy circuit. He's also said he will not perform on college campuses because talk about an unfun place these days. Let's watch.
I can imagine a time when people say, well, that's offensive to suggest that a gay person moves their hands in a flourishing motion and you now need to apologize. I mean, there's a creepy PC thing out there that really bothers me.
Jennifer.
I don't think it's so much about political correctness as it is to just being sensitive of what might really hurt someone. And, you know, look, when we talk about, you know, Christmas songs, I wouldn't necessarily put Baby It's Cold Outside in the realm of Christmas songs. You know, when you talk about liberals...
Oh, even if it's not.
Criticizing, you know, the way...
Is it played in June?
The way President Trump, you know, prays, you know, this is a president who was sitting less than a foot away from another president who, you know, a lot of conservatives talked about being a Muslim for the last decades as if there was something wrong with that. So I think when we talk about turning the tide of the national conversation into something that's a little less offensive, it doesn't have to do with political correctness. I would like to see what conservatives would have said had it been President Obama who did not recite the Apostles' Creed when the entire rest of the church did.
I think one of the things that's different here is that conservatives actually try to say we want to conserve the culture. We want to conserve that. What makes us different is okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay to have different points of view. But what I'm trying to get to, Jennifer, and you didn't quite seem to understand what I'm saying, is that in this world of if you're offended, I can't say it. I can't even feel it for fear of losing my job, not getting a promotion, and not getting a benefit in the workplace. People are afraid to speak their minds. That is not liberal. That's scary. And that's censorious. That's what the left always considered conservatives. Harmeet Dillon.
Yeah, absolutely, Laura. I mean, you know, conservatives are not in the business of critiquing how people pray. I just think that's crass. And, you know, he prayed the way and he felt comfortable doing. And it's not our business to critique that. But what I see on college campuses and in workplaces where I do a lot of litigation is that people are constantly censoring themselves, walking around on eggshells. You know, young people are actually doing consent videos before they move to second base with a girl so that they don't get sued. And it's really sucking all the joy out of life. And
romance.
And romance. And if I were a young person these days, I mean, I would be like stressed out and having to take all the drugs they take now because they're always worried about what the new rules are.
I mean, are you saying that consent is sucking the joy out of romance? Because
no,
that's
what I said was making a video to document the consent is sucking the joy out of interactions between the sexes.
The fear of being dragged before a board or the fear of litigation keeps boys from asking girls out, and vice versa in some cases, because they don't know where the lines are.
Oh, and the presumption of guilt. Don't forget about Title IX, which puts all the boys who looked at a girl in the box for years. Have to hire lawyers.
There's definitely a conversation to be had about due process and what we need to do on college campuses, but I think a consent is a completely different conversation.
Raymond, you actually interviewed candidate Trump about his faith and going
about prayer in particular.
About prayer, but again, liberals criticizing how someone decides to pray in the moment. That's wild to me.
You heard,
but I want to play what he said to you about his own prayer.
When you pray, what do you pray for?
I don't want to talk to you about that. I mean, I pray. It's very personal to me. I'm a person of belief, but I certainly, you know, I pray for my family. I pray for our country.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk to you about that. I think that's very personal.
Okay, between you and God.
It is between me and God, yes.
I like the fact that they didn't want to talk about it. Liberals are like, don't wear your religion on your sleeve. I get trashed for wearing this cross, by the way, over my cold.
I never get trashed for wearing my cross, ever.
I do. Go to my Twitter feed.
Okay, but
you're a liberal. You can do whatever you
with
want.
apologies to the jewelry choices, ladies. The moment criticizing the man for not praying the creed, though, or reciting it, first of all, you're dealing with a man who I think is new to faith. He's working his way through it, and he's not ostentatious about it. But I would prefer someone. I would rather a faithful pagan who follows who protects religious freedom and advances basic morality in our government over a pious fraud who assaults both.
Oh, and let me read
There's a very, very big difference.
But that's the difference that many faith-filled people had with President Obama. It was the policy, not the man.
But there's a very big difference between criticizing the way somebody prays and pointing out hypocrisy in conservatives in terms of religion.
Why is quiet prayer?
Because liberals have been called godless for years when they have worshipped a variety of gods. And I think
that's a non sequitur. You're not arguing the point. The point is liberals claim that they're pro-choice, be who you want to be your authentic self, my truth. Trump is praying in the way he darn wants, and he gets trashed by Don Lemon. Don Lemon used to be someone I actually respected. Don Lemon has gone so far over the line. God bless him. I don't know what's going on with him, but you're so obsessed with trashing Trump that you got to trash him, at the moment when everyone's honoring George Bush. I don't understand that. I think it speaks so poorly of where this culture is. And I think it goes back to Jennifer. People are truly just afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid to speak, afraid to feel. Now, if you hum along to "Baby, It's Cold Outside," you might as well have raped somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's gone way overboard, and it's just not fun. There's no fun. You can't. Can you really have fun? I guess you can smoke pot, do edibles, and then talk about how you might want to change your gender, and that's kind of interesting, I guess. But you can't do much else. I guess play sports. What? I mean, honestly, in the public life, it's very hard. Jerry Seinfeld is right. Humor is dead, and that's why they're going to political humor and they trash Trump.
Well, we're moving to a secular dogma, which no one really knows. It's Pope Benedict coined the phrase "dictatorship of relativism." Yeah. I think we're here.
All right,
it becomes its own dictatorship.
All right, thank you so much.